So today, I wanted to sit down with an industry expert to help demystify life settlements and explain how they work. So joining me is Steve Shapiro. He's the founder and CEO of Q Capital Strategies, which is a firm specializing in life insurance policy sales for individuals, financial advisors, and institutions. Now, Steve has over 20 years of experience in the industry and has served on the board of Life Insurance Settlement Association, or LISA. So, Steve, thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited. I have just learning about this, and I have a notebook I hope to have full by the end of this. So, I hope you don't mind. I've got a lot of questions for you.
Absolutely. Well, Shannon, thank you for having me, and it's great to talk to you today.
Despite the industry's growth, many people they're not familiar with life settlements. Why do you think awareness remains so low?
Well, I think the insurance companies don't necessarily want people to know about it, because basically we're taking a policy that might be lapsed or might be surrendered, and turning it into cash for a senior. So the policy remains in force, and the insurance carrier then has to pay a claim. And so few policies actually pay a claim at the end of the day. And if we move that needle, I think the incentive is there for the insurance companies not want us to grow, and for their then to tell their advisors not to necessarily talk about this product or the availability or the possibility even of selling a policy.
So you just said something that kind of made me think exactly what percentage of life insurance policies actually end up paying a death benefit. Do you know that?
I do, but do you want to take a guess first, or
Shoot, to guess that pay out, right? When you
that
die,
actually pay out?
I'm going to say 80%.
It's actually almost the opposite. About 85% never pay out.
What?
Yes, that is
God.
correct. It's a pretty jaw-dropping kind of number there. And that's because people outgrow their insurance. Their kids grow up, they have their own families, and because paying for an insurance policy can become a burden over time, and money's needed in other places. So people will look at the policy as a liability as opposed to an asset, and decide, what, it's just, I don't, the need for it is gone, and I'm just going to stop paying. And that's what we're here for. We're here to say, okay, that can be true, but it's also true that it's an asset, and you can sell it for a lot more than that. If it's lapse, it's zero. If it's surrender value, typically in our industry, it's 4 or 5 times the cash surrender value. So this is real found money for a lot of people.
Wow, that's awesome. So on average, how does a life settlement pay out compared to if you were to surrender the policy or just let it lapse?
Well, again, if you're just going to lapse it, it's infinitely better, right? Because if I pay anything, that's better than zero. For a surrender, the data that we collect in the industry shows last year, actually for 2024, which is the last year we collected data for at this point, it was 4 to 5 times more than the cash surrender value. So we're talking very significant. It's
Wow.
very significant, and it was about over $800 million over cash surrender value paid out to consumers. It's a lot of money.
That is. That's impressive. So, me being a financial advisor, what role should I play with life settlement? How does it tie into me?
I think it ties into you that it's another conversation to have with your clients, right? It's always great to have opportunities and reasons to talk to your clients and to be able to deliver value. So here, when you're reviewing your client's finances and their needs, if needs change and there's a need for liquidity, um, ask about the insurance. Ask about their insurance, whether you're involved in it or not. And the great thing is, if you were the agent on the policy and it gets sold in the life settlement market, it stays outstanding. So that whatever trailers or commissions are still involved are still paid out. Um,
Nice.
there are also great opportunities as far as conversions. If you have clients with term policies, and they can look at converting it when they sell and selling it, and there's a new commission generated on the conversion. And finally, for you as the advisor, if someone does sell it, they're going to have some cash on their hands that they need advice on how to deploy it, how to, whether that's to, invest in in a different retirement product or an annuity, or even if it's to buy a smaller, more appropriate life insurance policy.
So, who is typically a good candidate for a life settlement?
Generally, the market focuses on older folks, 70 and older, policy size $100,000 or more. Um, Again, generally it works best where there's been some change in health since the policy was taken out. But situation, it really depends on the product, on the policy. But generally, as general matter, 70 and older, 100,000 and over, it's worth a call.
Okay. So there's a lot of different types of life insurance. You have term and universal and variable and whole life. And so what types of policies qualify for life settlement?
We look at pretty much everything. So anything can qualify. I would say the most typical policy sold are universal life, variable life, IUL, but term as well. I mean, a lot of people would think term is not a great candidate, but again, as I mentioned before, if the term policy still has convertibility into either a whole life or universal life product, that can make the term policy work really well. And then depending on health, a straight term policy works as well. So yeah, the vast majority of insurance is term. So we're looking at it and we're looking for creative ways to make it work.
Okay. So what's the typical process and maybe timeline for selling a policy?
Yeah, I mean, look, the we try to do this. It's not something that happens overnight. So it usually is a 30 to 45-day process, where we have to work with the insurance company to get information. And the good thing is we do all the work. So there's no um, there's no process like when you're taking out insurance where there's blood drawn or anything. We're just going to have you sign a couple releases. We're going to collect medical records so we can do an underwriting based on medical records. We're going to get some information from the insurance company. And, assuming that we can get that paperwork pretty quickly, we're talking 2 to 4 weeks to get an offer out, sometimes faster, and then another week or two to get a policy purchased.
Wow. Good.
Well, look, that's what we look to partner with the advisor on. We're hoping the advisor's got that plan. But we, again, so many different things we see happen. And when we, talk to our clients after the sale or during the sale process, as I said, we'll hear anything from, I want to take my policy proceeds and switch it instead of having to pay money out. I want to get money in, so they'll buy an annuity and generate more income to supplement their retirement, pension, or just Social Security. We'll see it for pay for healthcare, pay to put to move into an assisted living facility, but or just make a smarter investment and a better use of the cash. So we do see many different reasons, and again, including I can think of one client that we spoke with who loved her garden and she wanted to expand her garden, and that was her happy place. And she took some of her money from her life settlement and planted a bigger garden that year.
Awesome. Yeah, I was thinking about annuities. I love annuities, so I thought if they could take a life settlement, take that money, put it into something like an income, annuity where it's going to pay them something for life, that could be huge.
It's huge. It's huge. And we see that frequently because you think about it, you just took something that you had outflow and you just turned it into an inflow, right?
Right.
So you took what people would consider a liability and turned it into, cash flow, into an asset. And that's really a pretty powerful thing.
That's awesome. I like that. So, how can life settlements enhance a financial advisor's planning toolkit?
Yeah, I think it's always great to have more tools in that toolkit. So here's another reason for you to have a conversation with your client, and it's a fresh conversation. It's not the same thing that you've been talking about. It's a kind of a new way to open the door, a new conversation. And again, it's not going to be for everyone, but it's always good to have more conversations than less. And again, based on what we see when we talk to clients and potential clients, I would guarantee that 80+% of your clients you talk to will never have heard of this. So it's something new for them
Yeah.
to think about. And it may not be of interest right away, but over time that may change.
How would I get paid or compensated in a life settlement transaction?
Yeah. So we work with the referral program where our goal is to help you make money with doing very little work. So, um,
Sounds
so
good. Keep
yes,
talking.
that's the goal. The goal is you provide us that introduction, that referral, some basic information, and we'll take it from there. And we'll pay through our referral program. We pay you a fee on closing that's based upon the size of the policy. And yeah, and again, if you depending on how it works, if you're running an agency and you have other agents working under you, we kind of pay two-tiered. We can pay even two-tiered compensation where you would get paid for other people doing work. You'd both get paid, and we make that. We build that into the. It's no cost to the policy seller. It comes out of we pay it to you directly.
So, what would some common misconceptions about life settlements be?
Well, I think, I mean, there's the old one that we don't really see much anymore, but I'm sure it still sits into the back of some people's minds, which is, oh, is Tony Soprano buying my policy? And the answer to that is no. Tony Soprano is not buying your policy. This is an institutional market. Large funds, private equity firms are investing in these policies as an alternative investment. And actually, from an investor standpoint, it's similar to an insurance company issuing an annuity, right? It's just kind of the opposite side of a life insurance policy. But these are sophisticated financial institutions. So that's a misconception. The other one is that this is the Wild West, and it is not the Wild West. Life settlements, just like life insurance, is regulated state by state at the state level, and the companies that buy life settlements are regulated in that initial transaction when the consumer sells the policy. They're regulated transactions with required disclosures, and all the firms that are buying them are regulated by the state of resident of the seller of the policy. So, I think those are really the two big ones. And again, this has changed over time. When I first got in the business 20 years ago, it was, maybe 10 states regulated, and now we're up to 44.
Wow. Dang. So, are there any risk or downsides that maybe someone should know about or understand?
There really aren't. I mean, any company that's in this business, these are no obligation discussions, no fee, no risk. You talk to us. There's no downside, right? There's no cost to just figuring it out and seeing if you can get an offer. And if you get an offer, there's no obligation to take it. You decide, and maybe you decide you don't want the offer today, and you call back in 6 months and you do.
Okay, that
So
sounds
there's
easy.
really no risk, no downside, no cost.
Wow, that's amazing. I didn't know that. And where do you see this industry heading in the next 5 or 10 years?
I think continued growth is what we expect. I view my job in many ways as an educator, trying to get the word out. The guy standing in speaker's corner yelling, "Hey, this exists," because
Yep.
every day seniors are just lapsing and surrendering policies and leaving money in the table. This is the pennies you find in the couch cushions, but they're big pennies. They got a lot of zeros after the one.
Wow.
And it's an opportunity for both the agents, um, uh, for them to learn more about it, put it in their toolboxes we've talked about, and make tens of thousands of dollars per case, and of extra compensation potentially, and for the seniors to get value for this asset that they've carried for many years. So I think we're going
Nice.
to
Yeah.
continue to see the industry grow as we do a better job of getting word out there.
Well, hopefully I can help you with that because this is pretty neat to me.
Yeah.
I'm planning to tell people about this. So, if somebody's watching this and maybe they're unsure if a life settlement makes sense for them or not, what should they do first?
First step is to give us a call. We've got our website. We've got our phone number. We'll share that with you. We have them go qlifesettlements.com, or we have qlifedirect.com. Reach out to us and start a conversation. Pick up the phone and or fill out a form on our website, and we will reach out to you and have a friendly conversation and see if we can help you.
Very good. Okay, that sounds easy.
Yeah.
The information is free, I assume, right?
Everything is free. We've got all kinds of
So
educational tools. If you're an agent, you reach out to us. We've got materials that you can use with your clients. We provide marketing support. If you're a consumer directly and you're interested, we'll do the same thing. But you need some talk to one of our qualified sales folks who can guide you through and help you learn more about what we do.
I'm in sales also. If somebody comes to me and says, I want to show you something, and I get the feeling they're trying to sell me something, some people shut down. I'm not interested. And I'm like, you know what? I need to listen to what it is first so that I can make an educated decision. Because if I don't listen first and get educated on the topic, I'm making an uneducated decision. So I
Yeah.
would encourage everybody, if you're remotely interested in this, and if something you've heard struck a chord with you, and you think, wow, I'd really like to learn more about that. Like, what do you have to lose? At least pick up the phone, give the man a call, and learn more about this so that you can make an educated decision.
Yeah. And look, we're here to help. We understand that for people that have never heard of this before, it is a strange thing that is not something they're used to. And we have clients we've worked with who, for years, who've thought about it, wasn't right for them, and then 2 years later they decide it is right for me. And so I'd say we are patient. We are not, we're not a hard sales tactic. We just want to educate because we believe in the product and we think people will make that decision on their own. So we just want to, lead you to the water, give you the information, and you decide when you want to take the drink.
Very good. Well, I appreciate you being here. I have 2 pages of notes, and I'm hoping when this video goes out, people see this and they can get better educated about life settlements, and will give us a call.
Well, thank you so much, Shannon. It's always great to talk, and we're here
Yes,
to
sir.
provide any information and follow up as needed.